Hello, I am Ann Phelps, the Director of Programming in the Program for Leadership and Character, a role that has afforded me the wonderful pleasure of getting to know Katherine Finch. Katherine came to Wake Forest from Manhattan as a presidential scholar, recognized for her world-class career as a dancer, who somehow nonetheless found herself majoring in philosophy and political science and international affairs in her desire to improve the lives and well-being of women she knows personally, as well as in complex systems in our society. Katherine's versatile talents and passions have led her to accept a position at Goldman Sachs, where upon graduation, she will begin her work as a full-time analyst. I am honored to invite her to share her senior oration entitled "The Statue Underneath."
Thank you so much, Anne, for that lovely introduction. It is hard to say whether you will ever be able to catch up. These were the soul-destroying words a mentor of mine would often repeat to me in my early teens. My passion for ballet, in one person's eyes, set me up for failure. At what, I was unsure. I carried an overwhelming weight on my shoulders, a fear that I may not be capable enough to contribute meaningful ideas to the world. According to some measurement, I did not yet understand. All of this changed when I met Associate Dean of Admissions Thomas Ray during my admissions interview at Wake Forest. The first question he asked me after I described my biggest challenge was, if you could sit right across from President Trump in the Oval Office and propose one piece of legislation, what would it be? Suddenly, gone was the bar against which I was previously measured. I realized that I could weaponize the challenges I had overcome in my life to make the world a better place for others. I needed nothing but a true understanding of my passions to lay the course for how I could become an effective activist. On our first day of orientation, almost 4 years ago, gathered together as a class in Waite Chapel, the class of 2022 was asked to write letters to our future selves at graduation. We will not come together as a whole class for a similar assembly until our graduation this spring, 4 years later. We looked at each other nervously as we scribbled on paper, feeling vulnerable in the eyes of our own future selves. For many of us, myself included, we could not even picture the persons we would be at the end of the next 4 years. We knew we were here for a purpose, one that would entail a sense of self-discovery, yet the end result of who we might become was somewhat intangible. As I reflect on that moment, I see us as blocks of marble. Having experienced some life, each block was a different size, possessing various cracks and crevices in different places. Each day in this institution would chip away at our hard exterior, soon to reveal the statue within. According to my research, it would take a Greek sculptor roughly 12 months to produce one marble statue. Over the course of 4 years, we definitely had our work cut out for us. But as I consider all of the inspiring people with whom I am so fortunate to be graduating, I know it was for a purpose. Great things truly do take time. Many of us began our courses in 2018 with trepidation. What would become of us? Of what would we soon learn? However, in each of our classes, our professors wanted us to take our individually constructed ideas and opinions to form our own knowledge about the information presented to us. In my first philosophy course, Professor Francisco Gallegos wanted me to consider, question, and challenge myself and my beliefs as shaped by the systems in which I had spent large portions of my life. In my writing seminar with Professor Marianne Earhart, I was challenged to write draft after draft, boiling down my language until I was vulnerable enough to write exactly what I thought. I overcame the fear that my own thoughts, as shaped by my life experiences, might not deserve to be heard. In classes with Professor Jack Amaro and Professor Winley, I identified the cause to which I will be tied for the rest of my life: strengthening women around the world. Our professors listened. They recognized when we were most fired up in class, and they allowed us to develop interests within each subject. They helped us find a role for these interests to evolve into our everyday lives. All of this was possible for each of us due to two factors that are unique to the DNA of Wake Forest: our strong relationships with the professors who inspire us, and our existence within an institution that is dedicated to teaching us how to make a difference in this world. I have come to tell people outside of Wake Forest community that this institution is best described by the following words stated by Gandhi: be the change you wish to see in the world. Each of our professors shared the passions intertwined in their life's work, otherwise known as the changes that they are making in the world through their contributions. In a beautiful exchange, they helped us identify those same passions within ourselves. We prepared to embark on our own postgraduate journeys. Together, in trying times amidst global strife and polarization, we are tied and we are unified by our identity as changemakers. Changemaking is the Wake Forest currency, compassion is our language, and empathy is the air we breathe. Earlier this year, I had the opportunity to read Brené Brown's book, Dare to Lead, in which she shares two truths about leadership and vulnerability that I have seen reflected within our own striving for Pro Humanitate at Wake Forest. First, she says, vulnerability is having the courage to show up when you cannot control the outcome. The students and faculty of this institution exist in and enforce an environment that uses open curiosity to make discoveries about the self and the outside world. Second, she says, leaders have to create and hold standards higher than what we experience. As students, we leave Wake Forest equipped to spread these standards wherever we may travel next. As first years, we had the courage to be vulnerable. We showed up and participated over the past 4 years wholeheartedly, fully acknowledging in those letters we wrote to our future selves that we could not control the outcome of our time here. But we ultimately learned that we could control how much of ourselves we put into this process. We now know that the self and world discovery we experienced here liberated parts of ourselves that were most desperate to act. We leave with the understanding that we will now help the world discover its most beautiful shape, as our professors helped us discover ourselves. It has been the greatest gift to listen and learn from our peers as we've evolved into increasingly aware and more striking versions of ourselves over the past 4 years. The gift of discovery that we received and gave to each other, in turn, will be the gift that we give to this world. Thank you.